this evening. First, social media personality Mikhail Rodriguez, also known as the Guyanese critic, faces a hefty $52 million fine for defamation. Find out the details of the court ruling and the permanent injunction against them. In other news, SOCU has launched an investigation into allegations of malpractice against Deputy Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus. We'll bring you the insights from Vice President Barry Jagdeo's press conference and what this means for the Ghana Police Force. Also, a man has been charged with the murder of transgender sex worker Sean Anthony Simon. We have the latest updates from the courtroom and the ongoing investigation. Ghana is gaining international recognition as a top investment destination. Learn about the key sectors driving the country's economic growth and the government's efforts to attract foreign investors. In regional news, Antigua and Barbuda are hopeful about the return of LIAT with a potential August launch. Discover how partnerships and funding efforts aim to revive the airline and support former employees. Stay tuned for these stories and more on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 19th, 2024. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, social media personality Mikhail Rodriguez, also known as the Guyanese critic, has been ordered to pay over $52 million in damages to businessman Nizar Mohammed and his son Azruddin following a defamation lawsuit. Justice Nigel Niles issued the default judgment on Monday, including a permanent injunction against Rodriguez and his news platform, Daybreak News. This injunction prohibits them from repeating or disseminating defamatory statements. The court found Rodriguez guilty of defamation on multiple occasions in February and March 2024 during his online talk show. The damages include $22.5 million awarded for defamatory statements made on February 17th, March 1st, and March 14th, and an additional $3.5 million for other defamatory actions during the same period. The total amount awarded includes interest at a rate of 6% per annum from filing until judgment and beyond. The Mohammeds filed a lawsuit after Rodriguez made the defamatory statements about them on his Facebook program, Morning Live with the Critic. The Mohammeds had previously demanded over $100 million each and requested that Rodriguez cease the defamatory broadcasts and issue a public apology. Rodriguez's refusal to comply led to the legal action. The court's ruling underscores the seriousness of the defamation and the need for accountability in online and media communications. Staying with current events, the Special Organized Crime Unit has initiated an investigation into Deputy Commissioner of Police Acting Calvin Brutus's allegations of malpractice. Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo confirmed this development and expressed confidence in SOCU's impartiality. During his weekly press conference on Thursday, Dr. Jagdeo emphasized that there would be no internal pressure to influence the investigation, stating that President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali is also monitoring the situation. He stressed the importance of not vilifying police officers for political gain and addressed the opposition's call for external oversight as hypocritical. Deputy Commissioner of Police Acting Calvin Brutus has taken vacation leave amid the allegations of financial impropriety, allowing SOCU to conduct its probe. On a different note, Ghana has been recognized as a top investment destination thanks to its many opportunities in areas such as oil and gas, housing, construction, and agriculture. The country's economy is growing rapidly, with a 33% increase in GDP in 2023, making it one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The government has received praise for its efforts to improve various sectors such as agriculture, health, education, housing, and water. One of their initiatives include an electronic system to speed up planning and building permits, making it easier to do business. In tourism, Ghana won the Destination of the Year award for ecological tourism, and over 500 new hotel rooms are expected by the end of 2024. The country is also working on a gas-to-energy project to lower electricity costs and construct new highways to improve transportation. Ghana's business environment is very welcoming, with no major restrictions for foreign investors. The Local Content Act ensures businesses hire Guyanese workers and use local supplies. Additionally, the Natural Resource Fund expected to exceed $3 billion by year-end, allows the government to invest oil revenues internationally. Investment incentives include tax exemptions, tax holidays, and easy repatriation of profits. The government is also planning to create free trade zone in Lethem and an industrial zone in Wales. The influx of investments in oil and gas has created many job opportunities, driving further economic growth. Ghana is committed to international anti-corruption standards and has a fair legal system, which boosts investor confidence. The U.S. Department of State's report highlights Ghana's openness to investment and protection of investor rights. Stick around when we return. 2 suspects charged in murder of transgender sex worker and the 11-year-old boy dies in horse riding accident in Region 9.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Beccaphonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoons, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoons Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. 31-year-old Akeem Fraser of Meadowbrook Gardens, Georgetown, was remanded to prison on Friday after being charged with the murder of transgender sex worker Sean Anthony Simon. Fraser appeared before Magistrate Faith Auguste at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, but did not enter a plea. He will remain in custody until his next court appearance on July 22nd. Fraser is one of 2 suspects in the case. The other suspect, 23-year-old Shaggy Mohammed of East Rijnveld Housing Scheme, Georgetown, is currently remanded at Lusignan Prison on a separate robbery charge. Mohammed did not appear in court. However, his charge will be read at a future hearing. Simon was killed around 2 a.m. on July 11th near King Street and South Road in Georgetown, while accompanied by another sex worker known as Unruly Lilawati. According to investigators, Fraser was a passenger in the car used during the shooting with Mohammed driving. Fraser has admitted to shooting at Simon, who was reportedly involved in a dispute with Mohammed. The full details of the dispute and whether Simon was the intended target remains unclear. Before the shooting, the suspects had been drinking and later encountered Simon and Lilawati. Mohammed allegedly fired multiple rounds at Simon from the car, resulting in Simon's death approximately 100 feet from the scene. Police recovered 9 spent shells from 2 9mm pistols at the scene. In other news, an 11-year-old boy, Cancius Constance, from Hiowa Village, Central Rupununi, tragically died after falling from a horse and being dragged 500 meters through a savanna on Thursday, July 18th. The incident occurred around 11 a.m. when Constance, a 6th grade student at Hiowa Primary School, was riding a horse without a saddle. He accidentally fell off and tragically, his left foot got caught in the rope, causing the horse to drag him. His sister found his motionless body and called for help. He was pronounced dead at the scene by a doctor. The police found multiple bruises on his body consistent with the dragging. The body is currently at Lethem Hospital's mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. Police are investigating the murder of 40-year-old farmer Charleston Ernest from Fly Hill, North Rupununi on Thursday, July 18th. Ernest was killed after a confrontation with his 47-year-old uncle and the uncle's 57-year-old brother. The altercation began Wednesday evening when Ernest and the 2 men were drinking. By late Wednesday night, the men argued, accusing Ernest of stealing cattle. Around 3:30 a.m. on Thursday, Ernest's 22-year-old nephew heard him calling for help. He found Ernest injured and saw his uncle fleeing the scene with a knife. The nephew retrieved the knife, but the suspect escaped. Police are currently searching for the suspect. Ernest's body is at the Lethem Regional Hospital awaiting a post-mortem examination. Don't go away after the break. Serbia's Rosanda Lake dries to a pond as the Balkan swelters in a heatwave. And Thailand's industrial downturn. Almost 2,000 factories have closed in the past year.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The Antigua and Barbuda government is optimistic that LIAT 2020 will begin operations in early August, pending a response from the Caribbean Development Bank. The government has requested that the CDB and regional shareholder governments of the defunct LIAT 1974 Limited use escrow funds to settle severance payments for former employees. Antigua and Barbuda is partnering with Nigerian Airlines Air Peace, with significant investments from both parties. The government continues to push for the reallocation of $12.1 million in escrow funds to acquire aircraft and compensate former LIAT employees. Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump has given his first major speech since surviving the assassination attempt. Trump accepted the Republican Party's nomination for president and painted a bleak picture of the country, but assured supporters he can fix America's problems. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
It was a moment just millimeters from never happening. Donald Trump accepting the Republican Party presidential nomination just 5 days after being hit by a would-be assassin's bullet.
Tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you.
He wrote the speech himself, his team said. The uniform of the firefighter who died in Saturday's shooting, Corey Compatore, behind him on the stage in Milwaukee. The name spelled wrongly. He talked about Saturday's shooting. There was a hush as the crowd listened, and he says he will never discuss it again.
Prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight.
But for all the promises of a different tone, a changed candidate, Trump returned to familiar ground and familiar targets.
They got another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi. They should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years.
There were many things that Trump got wrong or were simply not true. His dark picture of America, an echo of his acceptance speech in 2016. He claimed the world was on the edge of World War III, that crime was rampant in America, that there was an invasion on the borders, and he alone could fix it.
So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill.
As he ended his speech, he was joined on stage by his family, including his wife Melania, who's been missing from various court cases and political rallies in recent months, and by his side, his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance. In the hall, a predictable thumbs up from his supporters.
I think those people who were on the fence, this really had an impact, and I'm so excited. I'm excited about Donald J. Trump being our next president.
He hit on every policy point. It's common sense policy. We're bringing America back first, and I'm really excited for November.
Donald Trump was always going to get a great reception in this hall. That was a given. But to win, he's got to reach beyond the Republican base and convince undecided voters, suburban mothers, that he is actually the better candidate and would be the better president, no matter who he faces in November. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
Internationally, the Balkans and much of Europe are facing a blistering heatwave, experiencing record high temperatures. Governments from Italy to Romania have issued weather warning, urging people to stay indoors during peak heat. Al Jazeera's Charles Stratford reports.
What used to be a lake in northern Serbia, now barely a pond. Cracked mud and fast-drying reed beds mark where a popular nature reserve once was.
Only water can sustain life. A little bit of food helps, but I'm changing my shirts non-stop, as if someone poured water on me. I don't know what to say. It is scary how hot it is, really scary.
The Balkans and much of Central, Eastern and Southern Europe are in the midst of a blistering heat wave.
We are currently experiencing an extreme weather event, a heat wave, characterised by its duration and intensity. This means, considering the sum of temperature anomalies in a strong heat wave, such heat waves would almost not exist if it were not for climate change.
From Italy to Romania, governments have issued weather alerts and warned people to stay indoors during the hottest part of the day. Thousands of tourists flocked to beaches on the coast of Croatia, desperate to cool down. The water is amazing, but the land is so hot, it's a catastrophe, says this swimmer. We won't even get out of the water, says another. Some respite from the heat on land may be, but the temperature of the Adriatic Sea around the historic city of Dubrovnik hit another record-breaking high.
Before 2 days in Dubrovnik, it was almost 30 degrees. And it's not just Dubrovnik, it's the whole Adriatic. Basically the whole Adriatic is about 5 degrees warmer than the average in this part of the year.
The EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service says the average global temperature has been 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial era for 12 successive months. Extreme weather, including ever hotter summers across some parts of Europe, are now no longer an exception, but increasingly the norm. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Finally, Thailand's manufacturing sector is taking a hit with almost 2,000 factories closing in the past year. The economy may slow down even further in the coming months as industries struggle with rising costs and increasing competition from China. Al Jazeera's Wayne He reports.
Thailand's industrial machine is slowing down. Manufacturing makes up almost a quarter of gross domestic product, but rising costs and cheaper imports from China are blunting the country's competitive edge. This manufacturing company is one of the more secure, having diversified away from specializing in car parts during the 1997 Asian financial crisis.
We have a zero order, we could not sell any parts, so after that we changing our mind to expand business to medical device industry and also now agriculture machinery industry.
27 years on, many others still haven't heeded that warning and are paying the price. Almost 2,000 factories have closed in a year. And government data shows more than 50,000 people have lost their jobs.
I'm worried because I'm not young anymore. I'm nearly 40 and I lost my job at an age when it's going to be so much harder to find one.
There are plenty of vacancies, but mainly for low-income jobs. The prospects are slimmer for those wanting to earn a bit more.
There was a time when this public notice board would be bustling at this hour of the day, with people looking for work, finding dozens of jobs advertised. Now it's largely abandoned, serving as a sign of the job market here.
New factories are opening, such as Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer BYD, which started production earlier this month. But that was tempered by an announcement by Japanese company Suzuki that it's closing one of its facilities. Another challenge is the government's planned increase in the daily minimum wage to just under $11.
We need to be careful on that part because a lot of factories already move out of Thailand when they have the higher minimum wage in the last 10 years.
Companies like this, which have been operating for some time, believe their competitive edge is quality rather than price. Given the current and looming economic challenges, both domestic and international, they'll soon find out if that's enough. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other, and do have a wonderful weekend.